Oof, that eclipse season, y'all. We're riding high on the other side, or maybe you're in child's pose. But today you can take a break with your existential crisis or your grand healing, because I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, baby. If you're an OG, you are going to love this episode. If you are new and on the fence and not sure about me, well, today will be that declarative statement for you if you're in or you're out. And either way, God bless you. Here are the themes of what we are going to discuss today. Number 1, letting go. Number 2, safety. Number 3, why we do the work. So I'm going to be sharing these teaching practices through sharing about me. But if those are the things and the themes that are resonating for you, and I can only imagine that they are, this episode is for you. And what I love about this episode is it is a good precursor for next week's episode, which again is all about practicality in our spiritual practices. And it's really going to be such a foundational piece for everything that we have been working on. You guys know when I started season 5, it was all about reinvention, and that we have been on track. We have been on pace to be in this moment in our lives. Ooh, sorry, it just all came in all at once. I gotta close my eyes. We have been on track to be where we are now since 2023. Oh, I'm filled with so much emotion, you guys. This is not new. The epiphanies, the clarity, the fire, the grief, the turning over of your nervous system, your relationships, money, all of these major things that I would imagine you feel like a nutcracker, and like the universe has just been like, crack it. And all of a sudden you are just cracked the F open and seeing everything the way that you have been trying to see them. Like, it's like the first time that you said a mantra to yourself and you're like, oh, holy shit, I actually believe it. Which I'll tell you what, for personal experience, didn't ever think that would come. And so we are in this major upgrade, for lack. I hate to be the one who's like, we're experiencing an upgrade. Like, we get it. But that's what's happening. And it's real. And I know that it's so visceral for me that I can only imagine the specifics within your life. And this sense of clarity and endings and this new beginning. But it doesn't feel like a new beginning like it did a couple of months back. Like, this is literally like, okay, bitch, like, new scene, new people, let's go, right? New school, new name. Let's do this. And so there's new air here. There's new things to experience, and we're seeing things in a new way. So this episode is really going to pair nicely with next week's episode to kind of like really get us moving. So like I said, all of these things that we have been moving towards and shedding and letting go of to get us here has probably been about 2023. And you may even be like, Rachel, I just had a spiritual awakening. Like that's not for me. And again, not that I have to resonate with every human. Okay. She's just doing this from her home office. Okay. But I would imagine if I started to ask you enough of the specifics, there was an awakening in 2023. It wasn't conscious yet, but whether it was that deep pressure of things not working anymore or coming together or falling apart, that is also a part of this process. And we are now in this kind of like, it always feels like to me going down a water slide, you know, and like, especially when it's like, you start and you're like, oh, this is fun. And then it like goes in the tunnel, and then you feel like the tunnel's taking like a little too long, you know, and you're starting to go, this isn't fun for me anymore. And then like your back's doing that scraping thing because it's like all the tubes, you know, that are connected, and you hit that divot and you're like, I'd like this to be over. And then it finally comes out, and then you hear everybody like cheering and having fun again. And you're like, wow, this is great. And then you just like plunge into the water, and it's got so much force that it like takes you all the way down and like takes your breath away. And it's like that thing when you pop back up and it's like, and everything comes into focus again. That's where we are. And that is where we are in 2025, of this new sense of fresh air for so many of us. personally, which is so interesting because collectively we are all gasping for air. And this is just my energetic take on it. You know, again, she's not a seer. Take with what works for you and leave the rest. But isn't that interesting? And I think it's because so many of us that know what we're here to do, have this sense of clarity, are so valuable to the other folks around us that may not be having the conversations that you and I are having, doing the daily practices that you and I are doing. And it's not because we're better than them or we just figured it out, okay? Because I just felt like I got dragged behind a boat for the last 6 months. So, you know, relax. But I do think that there is, and again, just as I define it, I do think there is a sense of service. And I think that there is a huge sense of purpose and pride that we will be able to take into our work moving forward. And that's also what is very quickly going to escalate this new sense of self that we're walking into. So that's on the docket. That's the energy right now. And, you know, you guys know, especially if you've been listening to this, you know, OG, what's up? You have seen every iteration of me. You've heard every iteration of me. And you guys know I've been struggling with this panic disorder. And I've not been able to figure it out. And of course, I've done somatics. The only thing that I hadn't done yet was multiple sessions of like hypnosis at this point. Because I'm like, there's clearly something that I am not getting to the root of and I can't figure it out. And I've gone to multiple people and I participate in lots of, like, I really try to practice off air, like what I'm offering here. I really do. And not that I need to prove it to you, you know, I'm like, here are the receipts, but I just like to share that I'm genuinely doing this work and I've not been able to figure it out. And it's gotten to the point where, you know, it wasn't quite debilitating. I'm, if anything, resilient to a fault. So I was like refusing to go down with the ship. I'm like, great, if I have to put an alarm on my phone and eat every hour and a half so that my nervous system feels stabilized, that's what I'll do. If I have to go outside and hug a tree every 45 minutes, that's what I'll do. Like, I mean, was literally getting to the point where there's like timers on my phone and I'm like trying all these different things. And of course, Eclipse weekend, same as anybody else, I take my family to Chattanooga, my husband and I, and the grand city of Chattanooga. And we had like a beautiful time, but it was also very much the time of like taking a 2.5-year-old and a 4-year-old on a trip where everybody's staying in the same hotel room, which is to say like not fun, not a lot of sleep. So there was like this juxtaposition of these like beautiful, insane, heartfelt memories that I will remember for the rest of my life. And then also these like bring yourself to your knees moments where I was just like, what we're doing is not working. Like the way that we're functioning is not working. And I, you know, could get more into the weeds. It would bore you to death. But, you know, just of the systems, and it wasn't just like what was happening in the moment. Like it was just all of these things coming up for me. And I had this radical moment where yesterday I was walking around my house and all of a sudden, yesterday was Monday, we got back Sunday, okay? So yesterday's Monday, it's the autumnal equinox, it was the 22nd, and all of a sudden it was like I felt my body, this is super woo-woo, by the way, so for those of you that love it, you're going to hang on every word. For those of you that are like, she's out to lunch, that's fine too. I'm walking around and all of a sudden I felt like my body almost like walk outside of my body and like the past version of like my nervous system just kind of like melted away, which is wild. Now I also have like really like wild witchy shit like that happen to me all the time. It's just, I'm sure most of you listening have had those experiences. And the reason that I share this is because if you've been listening, it's like, this has been for sure 2 years, but definitely heightened in the last 8 to 9 months. Where I was like, I don't know what else I could be doing. I don't know how many more mantras or walks or like, and I've struggled within like my body, like my body's carrying so much inflammation. It's constantly stuck in fight or flight. And I'm trying all these things. I put my legs up on the wall. I have a red sauna mat. I go for walk, all these different things. And I couldn't figure it out. And all of a sudden when my body separated from that old nervous system, it'll make me emotional. And all of a sudden I just heard, you're safe now. And it still makes me emotional because I realized like, oh, I've actually been safe. Well, we're always safe. Okay. Like relax. But like from the life I was leading in 2018 and the things that I was doing and the people I was friends with and, just on and on and on, like I didn't feel safe and I wasn't taking care of myself and I didn't value myself and I didn't have that sense of self-worth and I was so confused and I didn't understand like to be an empath and I didn't understand the extent of my sensory sensitivities and psychic abilities and ADHD and creative abilities where I felt so confused by myself because I didn't feel like I was seeing reflected in the people around me where I'm like, I guess like no one else feels this way, or worse, I was like, I guess everyone else feels this way and they're fine with it. And so it was this like silent suffering and not even being aware of it. And I shared that part because I know that is so true for so many of you and your own specifics in your own way of that silent suffering and just assuming. And it's like, well, everybody else at the barbecue seems fine with it. So I guess I'll take another shot, or I guess I'll do another this, or I guess I'll, talk shit about this person because that's what everybody's doing, or whatever the thing is. And I have been safe for a while. And I think that my body, it just got louder and louder and louder because now I can identify like, oh, here's what was happening is I was putting myself in places that like logically I knew I was safe to be in. Logically, I knew that I was safe to put my name in the hat for that thing or start this business or do a TED Talk or go on CNN or, have 2 children, like all of these things. But my body still had not fully, it really was that terror barrier where it was like so scared of dying off. I'm like, oh my God, I've had a dying nervous system like running through my body. And so anyway, I could talk and talk about it forever, and if you're interested in it, DM me, I'll send voice notes. We can chat about it. But here was the interesting takeaway was just, oh, that's why we do the work. Because it doesn't work until it does. And when it does, everything changes and nothing will ever be the same. And I don't think I have felt this significant of a shift probably since I quit drinking, since 2018, where it was like that significant of a shift where I was like, oh, now I can genuinely do the work that I came here to do. Now I can genuinely speak from a place of authenticity without running it through the filter of like, well, don't say this or don't say that or be funny, but don't like, excuse me, like if I'm speaking freely, like the filter that I still put, which I know is shocking because it sounds like I don't think about anything before I speak, but the filter of which I'm throwing everything through and being like, is this okay? Or this, and I'm just at this point and, again, where I'll be 40 in May and I'm just like, dude, like mama is done. Like, if you love it, like, get on over here. If it's not for you, like, God bless, God bless. Like, not everybody likes pistachio ice cream. Totally fine. Not everybody likes matcha. Like, whatever the thing is, where it's just like, when we are not our most authentic self, and I know that we know this, but it's like we're never actually going to get what's meant for us. And that's why we get stuck in that purgatory, which is like the worst place physically, spiritually, and emotionally to be, which is we are holding ourselves captive, right? It's like that is the most self-sabotage, awful feeling, because then we're like, not only are we then chasing, we've already talked about this, like the fucking thing of being like, oh, well, once I get this thing, then blank. But now you're not even actually going towards the fucking thing because you're still editing yourself and taking things on. And like, the other part of this process, which has been so interesting to me, of now genuinely feeling this sense of like core safety. In a way, like all of a sudden it like connected me back to age 8, which must have been like around the last time that I genuinely felt true safety. And where I was like, whoa, like locked into this new nervous system, or maybe like it's the old one. Maybe it's the one that like was always there before I, fawned to be liked and didn't, and all these things that we do. And I just want to share with you of like, whether you're still in that place of finding your voice and finding your sense of safety and finding what is okay and is it okay? Like, yes, motherfucker, like it is good. Like you are so safe, and I am so with you if you are still in that place of struggle, because I think being on the other side of that, what I want to offer is like, it's not a struggle, it's a process. And like, it really does feel like that. And I think it's the only reason why I was able to get to the other side. Like the panic attacks started. I thought they were blood sugar because I'm like, I'm not anxious. What would I be panicking about? And then they kept coming and kept coming. And then I'm like, maybe I'm having a heart attack. Went to the ER. They're like, ma'am, we can give you Valium because this is a panic attack. There's nothing wrong with your heart. I'm like, sure it's not diabetes? They're like, yeah, we're sure. So I'm like, okay, this is insane. And it's like any process of becoming and accepting. And then when I was able to accept like, oh, this is panic, then at least I would start to know what to do when it's coming, how to talk to myself. Then I got familiar with it where it didn't feel so scary anymore. And, it's like been this whole process, and even the things and people that I've had to talk to or go back in with or set limits with, like even every single time I did that, ooh, it makes me emotional, is that panic slowly felt safe to go away. That this new nervous system, this new operating system was able to slowly, every time that happened, if you're listening to this, you can't see the cool thing I'm doing with my hands, but if you're watching, you can't even believe how cool this is. But where it's like slowly, it almost looks like that, the horse race game at like Dave and Buster's or something, where like you have to put the laser of the water right into that center button for like your horse to go forward. That's how it felt, where like every time I was honest, it wasn't even standing up for myself. Every time I was honest, that horse got to go a little bit farther up, and that panic horse kind of slipped farther and farther away. I mean, I had to have conversations with people in my family. Like, these are not radical. They weren't even very radical conversations, but they felt so scary to have. And like one, again, I won't give you all the specifics because how boring, but where I was just like, hey, I can't take on the responsibility of making sure that everybody feels like they get enough time. Like that's not for me to be like, well, did this set of grandparents get the same amount of time with my kids as this set of grandparents? And like, I no longer can check in and read the room if everybody feels perfectly happy. It was never my fucking job to begin with. And we equate this sense, and it is the ability to have these psychic abilities, to have this empathy, to have this creativity, to be super business savvy, to have the charisma, to have all of these gifts, skills, and abilities. I think I said that you all have, that you're listening right now. Nothing's free. We know that. Okay. So with that comes being able to feel the weight of the world. Is it fair? No. But is it going anywhere? No. And is it yours to fix? No. And the acceptance of that, the anchoring of that will heal more than you are prepared for. And I'm 2 days into the sense of self-safety, so I'm not writing a course on it quite yet, but I just want to share all of that with you because I know I haven't shared a lot on social media if you follow me, which like, God bless, I'm glad you're here. But I haven't been posting a lot. I haven't, because I really, really was like, I know I'm being called to get quiet and go in. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Because that's what we do. And that's what so many of us are guilty of, is like trying to heal and perform at the same time. And there are seasons, and I don't mean perform like you have to be a content creator, but I just mean, you put on the fucking dog and pony show for everybody in your life. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm totally fine. I mean, how many of us are out there juggling with our hands on fire being like, no, it's totally fine. I can handle more. And of course, that's, a lot of that is across to bear of being a woman. It's generational, and we get into generational curses and healing and all of those things. But like, let's just not have to solve everything at once. And I think that's actually one of the most beautiful things about healing is like, when you just stay present, you will always get to the other side. Like, I was thinking about that because I'm not one to sit down and be like, wow, this is insanely fucking hard. This is so hard. Raising 2 kids, being present for them, being in a marriage with somebody that you run a business with, trying to figure out how to run a business and then heal from some shit, and then just trying to get 10,000 steps a day. Like, good luck, it is really hard. And I'm not somebody who likes to, I guess, acknowledge that hard, because you guys have heard me say that it's like, choose your hard, it's like, what was easier, me drinking all the time and hiding from my potential and fawning all the time? It's like, well, that wasn't easy either. And so I really extend this to you of like, I think no matter where you are right now, there is some huge block of clarity that has been gifted to you. Like, there's some area of your life and this clarity has come through. And I think the same with me, where we're typically like, oh, okay, well, now I know. Now I fixed it. So now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it on purpose, and I'm going to tell everybody. And like, I'm saying this for me, and I'm saying this for you, of like, just kind of sit with it, because you earned it. And again, it makes me emotional, because she can feel the weight of the world, but it's just such a gift. And you have worked so hard. You have stayed with the struggle. You have stayed present. You have stayed dedicated to not only your presence of what you offer and what you're here to do within the realms of creativity, entrepreneurship, motherhood, community gatherings. Like, you have stayed so present and so committed to that. And through that presence and through that commitment, you have made your way to the other side. And you don't have to telecast that for the world quite yet. Like, you are welcome to sit with that sense of clarity, with that sense of safety, with that sense of a clearing. And that is like why we do it. Like, because I felt this sense of, oh my God, okay, now I feel safe and now I figured it out. And like, I mean, obviously I'm sharing some of that with you here today, but like, and it was like, my instinct was like, okay, now I've figured it all out. And then it was like this new version of me came forward, and it was like, yeah. And so you get to keep it now. Like, it's for you. You don't have to go out and change everything today. You don't have to go out and like, this is not, oh, look, everybody. Hi, excuse me. I know that you knew this or old version of me, but like, this is who I am now. So just wanted you to know, thank you. Like, no. like enjoy this time, especially here in the States. We're going into autumn and it's just like such a beautiful and romantic time. And it is the dying off, right? Like we see that. And then also in many, like cultures and things like Halloween and this idea of that is like about celebrating the dead, and whether that's folks you've actually lost or just like old versions of yourself. And I think there are so many beautiful things here in the letting go, which is also a huge part of what I'm talking about in the October newsletter. So if you have not jumped on the newsletter, I highly recommend it. I send out an energy reading for the month, and that's really a lot of what we're talking about. And so I think these things are really building on themselves. I think that this sense of clarity, this plateau, and also this process that we've collectively gone through from 2023 to now, that you've individually gone through from 2023 to now, this collective experience has really been about hopefully allowing you to embrace the process. I'll leave you with this, and then I'm going to wrap up of how these practices are going to kind of fold into themselves and really what we're going to be doing moving forward. But I did a future self meditation, and every time I go to visit her, she's like moving slower and slower, not in a way of like she's ill, but just like there's this sense of ease about her that is so attractive. And I always feel like Speedy Gonzalez when I go to meet with her, no matter each time I slow down, but I feel like she opens up the door and her energy is like, it's serene, or it's kind of like a babbling brook. Like there's some energy there, there's some stuff, but it's like, we don't need to prove anything. We don't like, and there's something so attractive and charismatic about that. And I said, how do you always find a way to slow down? And in this visualization, she looked around at my life as it is right now, and she said, why would you ever want to speed past what you're experiencing right now? And it was like zooming in on my kids and these moments with them, and the moments of building an audience and exploring my gifts and my creativity and falling in love with myself again and what I came here to do. And she's like, that's why I slow down, because I don't ever want to miss a minute of what I came here to experience. And so I just share that with you of when you have that, it's got to be more. It's got to like, why would you ever want to miss this part? This is the most interesting part of the documentary, of the book, of the story. It's happening now. And we have this beautiful opportunity. So we've gotten to this clearing. We're experiencing this new thing. Then on top of this is this huge amount of letting go. And this letting go is, it's big. It's big. It is things that you have let go of, you have let go of, you have let go of. And this time you're letting go of it in a new way, because in order to let go of these things, you have to let go of the stories that go along with them. If you truly let go of these people that they wronged you, or it wasn't fair, or if they would have only, or like all of these, it's like your identity, like tying yourself to these stories of what they did to you or why it didn't work out. You've done all of this work to let go of it. Yet now we're truly being called to let go of it, because this new clarity that you have, or like for me, it's that sense of like ultimate safety. In order to truly embody that and get to the fucking thing, because I want to be very clear, you are on your way to the fucking thing, okay? You have to let go of all of those things. And the reason that we haven't fully been able to is not because we love talking about it, or that we're still in love with that person, or we still want that old dream. It's actually sneakier than that, because like, fucking of course it is. It is the story that we tell ourselves about that. And to let that go means to let those stories go. And that's scary. That makes us feel like, what? Like that's scarier than a lot of the other easy letting goes. It's the letting go of those stories, of those narratives, of those things that you told yourself. Because now they're undeniable. Now that you have this new block of clarity, you can't uphold those anymore. They are clothes that no longer fit. And there's a lot of grief there. There is this last bit of grief of this pain that also comes along with this huge amount of clarity. So that's why I say, like, find a cozy nook in your home, in your bedroom, where in your mind's eye, in a park, in a body of water, like whatever your thing is that you have access to, and like just be with this new sense of presence that you have, because there is a little bit of grief that we're going to experience. There is a lot more of this practice that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to practice embodying and being this new thing. And I think that's so exciting. And I am so excited for you and all of your specifics. Because again, I was even chatting with my co-producer, Caroline, before this, because I was like, do people want to hear what's going on with me? I feel like it's so boring. And she was like, no, I think it'll be helpful for people because, we can meet each other where we're at. And so I know if these are the specifics and the things that are moving and shifting for me, like, my God, like I would just love to know, those things that are moving and shifting for you. And so this is my whole body's lit up. This is such an exciting time. And, I hate to be like, it's such an expansive time. Like, isn't it always? But there is a deep sense of practice that's coming. And so that's what I'm going to leave you with, because next week's episode, we're going to be talking about the practicality of this. And this is a lot of what I talk about in my TED Talk, which if you've not listened, we'll put it in the show notes. Go and watch it. It's a shameless plug, but it is fucking transformative, okay? So go and watch it. Do yourself a favor. Go and watch it. And one of the things that I talk about in there is the difference between confidence and capability. And that's really kind of these themes that are going to be coming back up. And again, all of this work that we've been doing, circling back to the top of this episode, we talked about when I came into season 5 and we talked about this reinvention series and really getting clear on who we are and what we like and all of these things. And we've talked about nervous systems and we've talked about systems and we've been doing the work even here together in this podcast. And so we are now at this tipping point of this sense of practicality and what we really need to be able to drive this forward. Because like I said, from the very beginning of this season, come March of 2026, the landscape is completely different. And you are going to be, if not you are going to be touching the fucking thing, whatever that is for you. And we want to meet it with like fully open hands. We want to meet it knowing it's the opportunity. We want to meet it from this sense of like, again, that grounded 10 toes down. Like my future self said, why would you want to speed past this moment? We want to know that we can be there. And the way that we are going to be able to do that is through practice. So we're going to do it together. I think I've said it 97 times. We'll just do a hyper clip of every time I said I'm so excited in this episode. It could be a drinking game if you drink, you know what I mean? So I'll just be like, I'm so excited, but I am so excited for the work ahead. I really struggle, as I'm sure with many of you do, with winter, because just, kind of a drag. But I think that utilizing the energy of winter and really being focused on this goal of reemergence and being able to meet the fucking thing in the eye when we get there in March, because we've taken it off of the pedestal and we've enmeshed with it. We've been like, yeah, this is the thing. I know that the fucking thing isn't going to change my life in that way. Like I'm not suddenly going to be happier, thinner, richer, more secure, like whatever these are that you think are going to solve your problems. And in fact, it doesn't matter what body we're in, what relationship we're in, how much money's in our bank account, like how we feel is an inside job. And so by bringing this fucking thing down to eye level, right? Bring it down, right? I talked about that on the podcast too. My coach, Toby Gadsden, told me that. Bring it down. Look it in the eye. And that's what we're going to do. Because March 2026 it's going to pop off. So I'm so excited. Come back next week. We're going to talk all about, I'll be done talking just all about me, baby. And you're like, Rachel, you still talk about yourself a lot. Well, relax. I'm an only child. But we're going to really get into it. I'm going to leave you with some actionable practices. We're going to talk about the difference between confidence, capability, and practice, because you know who you are now, and I want you to get really fucking good at it. All right? I'll see you here next week. Keep taking care of yourself. Tune out, tune in. Love you, mean it.